Greetings all, praise the King. Welcome to Eyewitness, an eye with an eye, where we reason to discover the truth, supporting the struggle for international justice. Today's topic of conversation is on the eyes. Before we get into it, I'd like to make a quick announcement that this account is being threatened with suspension. As another account, Ross Reaps, RASREAPS, has been suspended, although temporarily the platform is threatening to eliminate the account for talking about the thing. So, as of last year, so if we speak in code, you'll know why. Although this topic is not about the thing, there's a chance that the thing may be introduced. What about the eyes? You know, the eyes are spiritual. There's a phrase, there's the window to the soul. Some people say that the eyes don't lie. So there's something about our eyes that's revealing. That, you know, no words or actions can take away from this. It's similar to, you know, body language. These kind of actions that happen, spontaneous, that show our true, you know, feelings. But the eyes are more, you know, because the body language requires some kind of a movement, and the eyes don't. You know, we're not talking about, you know, somebody shifting the eyes, or, you know, the psychiatrists say if they look to the left, they must be lying. This ain't this kind of a conversation. This is a spiritual conversation. We're not focused on the physical of the eyes as much as we are the spiritual. However, there's something else going on here that has to do with the physical. Whereas we're beginning to see this kind of discoloration, and not just from, you know, older populations, and a lot of it from the younger generations. And it's happening around the eyes. Now, if you think about when one of the institutional communication channel conglomerates, you know, for example, Washington Post or New York Times shows a picture of, for example, the Taliban, let's say, they're very selective about which pictures they show you. And today's world, the pictures are fake. You know, the more that the institution has branded itself as being, you know, trustworthy, been around for a while, the more that they're able to deceive people. And it's not that they'll do it every single picture. That's not how it works. They do it when it matters. You know, when it comes to a situation such as the Taliban, which is one of their foes, they will attempt to show this group in a certain light. And in this case, not even show the group at all, but show a stage of people that have taken on an appearance of being authentic, but are rather made out. And in these pictures, you'll notice that they will discolor the eyes, around the eyes, to make the people look basically less than good. And so there's something about that psychologically. When people see somebody with black makeup around their eyes, it makes them it gives the impression that person is dark, you know, evil like. Um, this is similar, but this is real deal. This is happening without the makeup. When we're seeing these people with this discoloration right around the bottom, around their eyes, it's usually like a bluish, greenish pale. It looks sick. And we know it's a result of the screen. We're told that on average, I think in the place they call the United States, the people are on the screen for 12 hours. 12 hours a day. What the heck? It's hard to wrap your thoughts around, because you got to factor in, like, for example, myself. Or you know, there's other people that don't use the screen. So if you average it out, then that means the people that are using the screen are actually, you know, on it more than 12 hours. This is just strange, but this is the world that we're in. Of course, we know we're moving into the virtual world, and we won't get into that too much, but we'll hope that you can find out why it is that we're moving into the virtual world. If you see, kind of look around at what's happening right now. You know that there's a push to go into the virtual world. We're seeing the remote learning. They want to do the remote doctors, so everything can be recorded, all the interactions. The Babylonian loves when people spend time on the screen, because everything is being monitored. And they can track people's responses psychologically, and then do what we've talked about, the input, the output mapping, along with the tracing, and really be able to feed people the content in this time frame that will affect them the most. And you know, when it comes down to it, there's certain people on the earth have more power than other people, and those certain people like to keep it, and they have it because the other people that are a lot more than them underneath them, you know, if they have power, you know, they can put somebody in jail, but that person can't put them in jail, you know, for example. So those people are underneath them, for metaphorically speaking, and they can, you know, make those people serve them. This is something we've discussed all along. There's so many ways this happens, but that's the objective. The objective is to be served. So if people are able to have a psychological impact on others, then they may be looking to get those others to feel good about serving them. So this is somewhat to do with why there's a push, even though people are already spending at least 12 hours a day on the screen, to get people to spend more time on the screens. And what's that going to result in? It's going to result in more discoloration. Now you can see this sometimes with the police, because the police spend a lot of times watching people on the screens, and you see the discoloration around their eyes. Their eyes don't look right. And even as we've talked about the youth, the younger generations are beginning to have this discoloration, you know, indicating the amount of time they're spending on the screen. It could be at night that's causing this. It's unclear, or whether discoloration is permanent. or is it something that you can maybe sit out in the sun for a few months and alleviate yourself from it? But either way, the screen heads aren't getting away from the screen. They're hooked. So the discoloration will continue. Now, this is a spiritual matter, because if a person is spending 12 hours on a screen, they're serving the beast. We talked about it in a sense, because when they're giving information through the device, it's feeding the beast. The beast relies on that. We know the second beast is the artificial intelligence, and it is one God, one thing. But they claim it's two, multiple gods. Everybody's got their own AI, but they're all connected. That's the key. So we know it's the second beast that comes out of the earth, as proclaimed in the Revelations, to serve the first beast. To serve the first beast, which is man's rule. Which has got humans and animals, the entire planet, to the place of destruction, of utter demise, where people are unable to even stand in the sun no more. I mean, this was something that you could have did 10 years ago, 20 years ago. You could still stand in the sun. 10 years later, you can't stand in the sun. Why is nobody, why isn't it everyone is running out into the streets and crying for mercy? Because of the beast has got them captivated through these screens. And the screens continue to show them another world, an alternate reality. And so it's similar to when people go to a church. If you go to a congregation and the preacher's saying that the man is doomed, that the Lord will pour fire on the earth, then there'll be some people that will run. But if you get a preacher that says, hey, you all are going to heaven, you have done well, continue to go out and do just as you've been doing, then the people will be willing to support that congregation because it makes them feel good. That's what people are looking for. People have already been pushed down so far that at this point, they're looking for any way to make their life a little easier, a little better. So if you get somebody up there that says, hey, you're fine, you can continue to do whatever you feel like doing, you're still going to go to heaven, everything's good, and have a nice day. And they'll be like, this is the place for me. So that's the same with the screen. Could you imagine if you had one of these shows that's labeled a reality TV show, and it actually showed reality, ordinary people's lives? Would anyone really be entertained? Because obviously people's lives are mundane, they're slow, it's drudgery. They wake up, they don't feel like going to this job, but they have to go. They go all day, they do this, these tasks. That this is what every day looks like for most everybody. You probably couldn't really find anyone that would fit the description of some of the reality TV shows, because of course it's filmed in segments. Oh, there's something happening over here. Boom. It's with the fisherman shows. Oh, the boat's about to sink, and the camera's real steady and smooth. It's all fakery. It's an alternate reality. It's what they're showing people on the screen to make people believe, oh, this is what real life looks like. Here's something to do. Here's something to look forward to. Here's somebody you want to be like. Of course, The models are huge. We spoke about people that are there to imitate. The Babylonian would like you to follow this person, because this person is acting like they want to serve the Babylonians. You know, the Babylonians are the pagans. There is only two people on the earth today: the vaccinated and the unvaccinated.